Like so many of the stories we tell this time of year, the Christmas story is rooted in old tales of the winter solstice. In ancient times in Europe, when the solstice came, our distant ancestors sometimes told stories of a miraculous child born to lead the world back to the light. Throughout the world, people tell stories of children born to a royal family or an important and rich family who would grow up to lead humankind in a time of justice and truth. Early Christians adapted these stories of miraculous births, but they added a twist to the old stories. Their miraculous child was not the son of kings, but merely the son of a carpenter. He was not the son of a wealthy queen, but was instead born the son of a woman whose only wealth was her moral purity. And that Christian story has been told and retold innumerable times since those early Christians first began telling it 18 or 1900 years ago. We're going to recreate the old story of the miraculous birth of Jesus this morning, but we are going to give it our own telling. We will draw on early Christian accounts of Jesus' birth from the books of Matthew and of Luke in the Gospels. And since we take the story of Hanukkah seriously, we're going to make this a story of freedom and liberation. And drawing on our own Unitarian Universalist heritage, we are going to make this a story of hope for all people. Now, try to forget you've ever heard this story before. Even though you recognize the familiar characters, even though you remember the familiar plot, try to hear this story as if for the first time. At various points in the story, some of our young'uns and some of our grown-uns will come up here and reenact the parts of some of the characters in this story. When I pause and ask for characters, those characters will move up here, always walking slowly and calmly. Grown-ups. Where our faith development guides will lead us through the story. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's begin. If you wish, close your eyes for a moment. Transport yourself to another time and another place. Imagine a story that's going to unfold before your very eyes. A story part familiar and part brand new. Imagine that after years and years and years of hearing stories about women and men bowing down before powerful kings and emperors and dictators and tyrants, you finally hear a story in which three powerful, wise kings kneel before a child, along with some shepherds and animals in a barn for this tiny new one. Imagine that after years of hearing story after story after story of terrible wars, you are at last hearing the story of a friendly baby born in a stable. Story of a humble carpenter and his wife, shepherds in a starlit field who go to see the newborn child, and peaceful animals who gather round with the babies where the baby lies in a cow's feeding trough. Imagine that at last you are going to hear a story in which everyone makes not war, but longs for peace on earth and goodwill for all people everywhere. Imagine that after years of hearing stories about the results of hatred and oppression and persecution, you finally are hearing a story about the transforming power of love. Now, open your eyes, listen and watch carefully, and let the story begin. I'll need my Caesar. In those days long, long ago, a decree went out from the Emperor Caesar Augustus, who decreed to the world,
all the world should be registered so they can pay taxes to me.
Now, I need one person as Joseph. We have a Joseph back here. We have a Mary back here. Okay. Mary and Joseph, what you need to do is walk up here and walk around the pulpit and back down this way and then back up here. Walk slowly now. Mary and Joseph. Oh, this scene is a starlit night, so I need some stars. I need some stars, all right? Okay. All the people were required to go down to the town where they had been born to register. Keep those stars going. For some people, that meant a long journey. Joseph, a carpenter, had to go all the way from the town of Nazareth in Galilee, way back there, all the way to Judea, to Bethlehem, to the city of David. He went with Mary, the woman, keep the stars going. He went with Mary, the woman that he was betrothed to marry. They started on their long journey, traveling by day and sometimes even by night, their road lit only by stars. And then when Mary and Joseph got to Bethlehem, they discovered there was no room in the inn. Please be slow. Mary, Joseph, behold. Okay, you can put the stars down now. Oh, you valiant stars trying to keep it going there. When Mary and Joseph got to Bethlehem, they discovered there was no room at the inn. The only place Mary and Joseph could find a place to take shelter was an animal stable, and so they settled in to sleep there among the animals. Where's some animals? We got some animals here. I know we do. Animals, come on up. We have a bunny, a sheep. Oh, it was a hopping sheep. What am I supposed to do? We have a giraffe. Oh, I see a kitty cat. I see a kitty cat. Come on up, animals. I see a monkey. Who knew? Oh, there's the little mouse from the stable. The gentle animals welcomed Joseph and Mary into their stable. And that very night, the time came for Mary to give birth. Now, it was a stable, so when the baby was born, there was no cradle, of course. But one of the cows was kind enough to lend her feeding trough for a cradle. And Joseph and Mary laid their new baby there. In the hay. Okay, we need 2 shepherds. Do we have shepherds here? We have 1 shepherd. All right. Hi, shepherd. In that region, there were shepherds who lived for months at a time out in the fields watching over their flocks of sheep by night. They had to watch over their sheep because there were wolves in the hills that would gladly eat sheep if they could get one. On this night, the shepherds stood watching their fields. An angel of the Lord stood before them. And this angel was truly magnificent. And the glory of God of the Israelites shone around the shepherds. Not surprisingly, the shepherds were terrified. But the angel spoke gently, saying to them, where's my angel? There she is. But the angel spoke gently, saying to them, do not be afraid, for I have appeared to you to bring good news of great joy for all people. For to you is born in this day, the city of David, a special baby. And this will be a sign to you. You will find a child wrapped in strips of cloth and lying in a cow's feeding trough. Now we're going to need more angels. So would all y'all...
Let there be peace on us.
Y'all stand up. Y'all stand up. Wait just a minute, angel. Y'all stand up. Because there was a host of angels with the lead angel, right? There was a host of angels. So y'all got to glow. You got to glow. Put your halos up here. You got your halos? All right. And then, okay. The angel said, say it again. Say it again. Peace on earth. Peace on earth. Peace on earth. You're scared. You know what? Lots of people were scared on that night. It's okay. Can you say peace to all? Peace to all, and goodwill for all men, even from frightened angels. Upon hearing the message from God, in hearing the songs of the angel choir, the shepherds said to one another, "This is amazing." Okay, angels, you can sit down now. Let's go up to Bethlehem and actually see the baby the angel told us about. Being good shepherds who cared about their sheep, they brought the sheep along. So the shepherds went to Bethlehem with their sheep, and there they found Mary and Joseph and the new baby, just as the angel had told them. Afterwards, the shepherds would tell everyone the angel had said to them about Mary and Joseph's new baby. And everyone who heard the story was amazed, especially at sheep that hopped. The shepherds and sheep gathered around the feeding trough admiring the baby. They praised their God for this wonder of a new birth, and they prayed and hoped that what the angel said would come true, that there would be peace on earth and goodwill for all people, even the lowly shepherds. Now we need 3 wise people. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, 3 wise people who were kings and queens from the far east came to Jerusalem. And the 3 wise people journeyed their long, slow journey to Bethlehem. Actually, it took them 12 days to get there, which is why we have the 12 days of Christmas. And they noticed that their way was lit by a large, bright star. Where's my star? Where's my star? Large, bright star! Large, bright star with conviction! All right. First, the wise persons visited King Herod. And then these wise persons, when they went to Herod, they asked, "Where is the child who's been born the King of the Jews?"
Where is the child that has been born the King of the Jews?
And the second wise person said,
For we observed his star in the skies, and we have come to praise him and bring him gifts.
the 3 wise persons learned from King Herod about a prophecy which had been spoken long ago, that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. And so the wise persons set out for Bethlehem, and as they walked, they saw ahead of them the star with conviction, star with conviction. Ahead of them the star as they had first seen it in the far east. The wise persons followed the star until it stopped over the stable where the newborn child was lying in a cow's feeding trough. When the wise persons saw the new baby, they were overwhelmed with joy. They knelt down to worship him and opened their bags and brought out gifts of gold, because the crowns of kings were made of gold. And they brought out frankincense and myrrh. Myrrh was what was put in the oil to anoint kings. Now let's pause for a moment and consider this scene. It's a special night with stars and angels and shepherds and wise persons and animals, and they are all admiring a special baby that has just been born. Why would all these people stand around for such a long time to admire a new baby? There's only one reason I can think of. Because the birth of a child always brings hope for the future. And for a people who lived under oppressive Roman rule, the birth of a child must have been fraught with extra meaning. Will this one be the one that leads us to freedom? Will this one be the one who breaks our bonds of slavery? Will this one be the one who brings a reign of peace and righteousness on earth? And so it is in our world today, in a world that sometimes seems hopeless. We still look with hope to the future every time a baby is born. We hope that this one will be the one who leads us to a world of righteousness. There's a real baby. And every time we tell the Christmas story, it reminds us that we must go out. We must go out and work for liberation and justice. We, you and I, are the ones who are responsible for making sure the world is a better place for all babies that are born. That's the sound. Let us think on this truth of truths, considering this story of liberation, of justice, of love, and of peace.